So this is my video blog for my new student dialogue. My topic was religion and morality. So I'm just going to go down the list and answer the questions. So in my opinion, I do believe that my group achieved true dialogue. There was a lot of communication. One of the things I really noticed that was on the list was we challenged the idea and not the person. So I mean, it wasn't an argument. It was more of a dialogue. What were the active voices in your dialogue? Including myself, there were probably 6 or 8 really active voices, and that's not including the instructors. Yeah, so 6 to 8, maybe give or take a few during certain situations, but for the most part, that was it. Were there some reserved voices? Yes. I mean, given any topic, there's always going to be a reserved voice. So yes, there were some reserved voices. I mean, there were some people that didn't even speak at all. I mean, it's not like you can make them, so you're kind of stuck with that. Yeah, I mean, whether they're shy, bashful, or having a bad day, I mean, you can't make them talk. So yes, there's always going to be a reserved voice, and we did have a few. What role did I play? Well, I don't really know how to answer that. You know, I was kind of a big talker, so I guess I would be one of the active voices if that's what the question you're trying to get me to answer. But the reason I play that role is because I like to voice my opinion, so that's why I was an active voice and not a reserved voice. Do I think dialogue is a component of CU 1000, or why do I think that? Well, I think it's an important part, and it's going to play a really important part over the next 4 or more years you spend here. So knowing the difference between a dialogue, a debate, and a discussion is really important. Like in the debate, you're kind of prove that you're wrong, or that they're wrong and you're right. In a discussion, it's like you're just talking just to get your voice out there and don't really care about what other people say. And so a dialogue kind of takes like the best of all of those ideas and just makes it into one. So it should be pretty obvious how a dialogue is going to be really important over the next 4 years, and not just while you're in school, but in life as well. Nobody's going to want to sit there and be argued with or debated the whole day. And nobody's going to want to sit and talk with somebody who's just going to listen to their own voice. In other words, a discussion. So I do think it's a big part, and I can see why it's important. Any additional thoughts or comments? Well, I do wish there were a few more options to choose from for my new student dialogue. I did like my discussion. I think it would have been helpful for others if there had been more options. But the biggest thing to me was we spent like the first 45 minutes, seems like, just doing icebreakers. And just like covering what the difference between a dialogue and a discussion and a debate was. And when you take 45 minutes out, that doesn't leave that much time to actually have a real dialogue. So in my opinion, I think reading that and then having a short quiz afterwards on the computer for a little quiz would be a better way. That way, and do that quiz before you go to your dialogue. That way, when you get to your dialogue, you can just jump right in and get to the depth of it. You know, in my dialogue, people were even saying afterwards just to talk a little bit more, even after the time was up. So I think if you could cut out the icebreakers and all of that, I think it would help a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice to introduce your names and all, but mainly I'm talking about cutting out the, the boring stuff. You know, somebody can read and take a quiz on dialogues, discussion, and debates before they go there and be just as prepared as someone who wasted 45 minutes in the discussion or dialogue learning about it. So that's my opinion and my suggestion. Anyways, this is my vlog for New Student Dialogue at Clemson University. Thank you for listening.